It's 1977, and at the ripe old age of 11, Janet Jackson is already a showbiz veteran. When she joins the cast of the popular sitcom Good Times, she performs without the safety net of her family for the first time.
No matter what the court says, no matter what she says, no matter what anyone says, I'll always be with you.
She portrays the abused, orphaned Penny with an easy command. But when the cameras stop rolling, Janet is intensely shy.
There I saw someone that was something like me. I could see behind that smile there was a little shy girl behind there. And I was always a shy girl behind mine. So I knew the illusion.
Illusion is something the Jacksons know all about. At the close of the 1970s, they are the embodiment of the American dream.
The Jacksons were first presented to America as like the Brady Bunch. I mean, this wildly happy family.
But behind the public image, life is not so easy in Joseph Jackson's house.
He was a difficult taskmaster. He made their lives hell in many ways. He treated the kids as if they were in a military camp. Janet, saw a lot of that and was exposed to a lot of it throughout her youth, and it did leave scars.
Throughout these years, Janet's brother Michael, 8 years her senior, is a source of strength.
When Janet was growing up, Michael was her closest friend. They were deeply sensitive, and they found in each other, so much consolation.
Janet will later be quoted as saying, "Growing up is a difficult thing for anybody, but growing up at Jackson puts extra Tabasco sauce on it." And no doubt about it, life at the family compound in Encino, California is always spicy. There are security cameras, exotic animals, and ever-present fans.
The first time I went to their house, this was so funny. There were so many people across the street. I thought it was a bus stop.
Some of them were crazy enough to jump the fence, come in the house. We looked around, they were sitting down on the couch. We thought.
In 1981, 15-year-old Janet lands a supporting role in another hit sitcom, Different Strokes.
To all of us in the real world, she was the icon in high school. I mean, you wanted to get with Janet. You wanted your girlfriend to have the Janet Jackson hairdo.
She's blossoming into a teenage beauty. But when Janet looks in the mirror, she sees an unattractive girl, the one her brothers called Dunk. She's America's sweetheart, but nobody's girlfriend, a teen idol living in a not-so-splendid isolation.
Janet had a lonely childhood, kind of a loneliness that you can feel in her presence, a kind of a hunger for a happy family.
Even at a tender age, Janet is becoming a complicated young woman with many sides to her personality.
I think we all have not just one character, but several different characters and around different people.
Most people get to see the sweet Janet. A precious few get to see a very different Janet, determined and tough. One who does see that is Janet's cousin Stacy. When the two are playing poolside one day, a third girl gets into a fight with Stacy and pushes her into the water. She can't swim and starts to founder.
Janet jumps in the pool, rescues me, somehow pulled me out. But then after she takes care of me, she has time to turn around and punch the girl out, which I was like, okay, you see? That's what you get.
That toughness will help Janet make some difficult decisions in the next few years. But for now, all career decisions are made by a committee of one, her father. And in 1982, Joseph decides Janet should be a singer.
You're so beautiful, it's frightening. Do you know you're nice looking?
Oh,
Always uncomfortable with praise, Janet is also unsure she's earned the right to follow in her brother's footsteps.
Everyone expects me to be just as good as my brothers, to be just as talented as they are. And well, I'm me, not them.
Her debut album is called Janet Jackson. But Janet is so eager to avoid her family ties, she lobbies to change the title.
I didn't want to put my last name on my first album. I really didn't want people to know that I was a Jackson.
The album is barely noticed in a music world now dominated by Big Brother Michael, whose Thriller will become the biggest selling album of all time. By 1984, Michael is on his way to becoming the king of pop. Janet is on her way to New York to star in the TV series Fame, even though she wants to stay home and attend Pepperdine University.
It's funny Because most of the time it's your parents that are trying to get you to go to school and you want to do something else as a kid.
Soon, the family will discover another reason why Janet does not want to be in New York.
There was a lot going on in my life at that time. I was late for work all the time. Just so irresponsible. But see, my heart wasn't there. My heart was somewhere else.
Janet's heart is with James DeBarge, a 21-year-old singer from the group DeBarge. Both from big show business families, they've known each other since Janet was 10. In the months leading up to Janet's departure for New York, they've fallen in love. On September 7th, 1984, 18-year-old Janet elopes with James. It's shocking, but perhaps not surprising. Janet is the fifth of her brothers and sisters to marry before their 20th birthday.
Really what was going on there was rebellion. And Janet was doing anything she could think of at that particular time to break away.
Janet breaks away, but the marriage is hardly liberating. The young newlyweds move into the Jackson home. It's trouble from the start.
She was sort of on unsteady footing when it came to love and romance at that time in her life.
James is reportedly hounded by a host of demons, including an alleged drug problem.
And there was no getting around that. And no one in the family knew how to deal with that.
A bad situation quickly becomes intolerable. The marriage is annulled after less than a year.
Whatever moment that brought them together was probably beautiful, but you see, Janet was smart enough to realize that it wasn't going to work.
Maybe if it would have happened later on in life, it could have been the right thing. Because we cared a great deal for each other.
Coming up, Janet severs ties with another man she cares about, her father.